you've ever wondered about interest-led learning, this video is for you. I want to talk about interest-led learning and explain to you the difference between real, true child-led learning and just trying to pick a curriculum and homeschool environment that your child is interested in. So I want to tell you a story about my daughter. When she was 12, we had a very good friend and neighbor, an elderly woman who was moving out of her home. I think she was going traveling and she was getting it all cleaned out, just decades of stuff, so that she could rent it out. So one day all the neighbors were over helping and my daughter noticed and she came back to me and she was like, "Mom, so-and-so is moving and they're clearing out her house. Can I go help?" Now, my first instinct was, well, that sounds nice, but we have homeschool to do. But instead, I went ahead and just scrapped homeschool for the day and I said, sure, go volunteer for the neighbor. So she spent all day over there coming back in and checking in with me. And she came back with so much stuff. Now, you guys, I'm a little minimalist. She is, I don't want to say hoarder because that has a negative connotation, but let's just say she's got a lot of stuff. One of the things she came back with was this huge box of rocks. This was a lifetime of my elderly neighbor's rock collection that she was just going to throw away. And so she gave to my daughter. And I thought, oh, great, a big box of rocks. What are we going to do with that? But for the next week, my daughter took this giant box of rocks, labeled them. She was on the computer. She was telling me all about it. Mom, look at this. This is quartz and this is how this is made. And look at this one and this is how they're different. Look, they look really similar, but this line shows that they're different. She spent weeks on the whole week at least. I think possibly 2 weeks on this project. And she went far into it. She had them labeled, she had them categorized. She decided that there were a lot of extras. There were doubles and triples of some. So she's like, oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this rock collection that's labeled and has this informational packet and I'm going to sell it to homeschoolers. She really went all in for this rock collection. She learned so much more just playing with those rocks she'd gotten from a neighbor than she ever would have learned if I had gotten a curriculum together and said, okay, we're doing a geology unit this week. She would have been incredibly bored. She would have been bummed. She would have fought me the whole way. But instead, because this was her interest, it had nothing to do with me. My only part in this was to go, oh, that's interesting. That's so cool. And give her a space to do it and give her time to do it. She learned so much more. And to this day, she still, when we're out and about, she'll see a rock and be like, oh, look at this. It's whatever. And it comes from this. And it's rare here. Or, oh yeah, you can see there are a lot of them. She talks to her sister about it. She gives her all this information. My daughter remembers a lot about rocks. Now, if I had seen that interest and seen that rock collection and said, oh, this is the perfect time to pull out that geology unit and, order a bunch of stuff online and we're going to do like a big geology project, do you think my daughter would have been as interested? I can tell you for sure she wouldn't have been. And that is the difference between true interest-led learning and just trying to align our curriculum to our child's interest. There is absolutely nothing wrong with trying to make your formal curriculum align with your child's interests. I think that's very helpful. But we have to remember that that is not true interest-led learning. Interest-led learning is when a child has an interest and then a child goes and pursues that. Now, we can offer things. When my daughter wanted to put together the kits, I was like, oh, hey, by the way, I have these boxes you could use. When she told me she was going to make like a little informational insert to sell these kits, I was like, oh, fantastic. Let me show you how to use Canva. The difference was I was supporting and not leading. I gave her time. I gave her space. Our dining room table was covered with rocks. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But I gave her the time, I gave her the space, I gave her the opportunity, and I just supported her interest, and it had nothing to do with me. I didn't try to take that interest, co-opt it, and then turn it into something I wanted to do. And more importantly, I never tested her on any of this information. And that is the difference. And that is why to this day, she remembers facts. She shares them with everybody. She's still kind of interested in rocks, even though the big fire that lasted for a week or two petered out. I don't believe she actually sold any of those kits. I think they're still in her room, but she learned, she loved it. And now forever, she has a soft spot for rocks. Not all homeschool needs to be interest-led learning, but when the opportunity presents itself, Our job as homeschool parents is to jump on it by providing resources and then just getting out of the way.